everybody, this is Bob from Buckeye Sports Center. Today I'm excited to talk to you about the 2022 Bentley 20-foot LE model. This is a pretty cool model because this is not one of the real expensive pontoons. This is a value-oriented boat, but I'm going to kind of go through this boat and point out some features in it that really you don't normally find on a more value-oriented boat. So it's really impeccable value, a lot of what you get for the money here with the Bentley 200 LE. So firstly, we're going to look at the exterior and a few things that normally again on this value price 20-foot boat. Number one, we're looking at an 8-foot 6-inch wide boat, not an 8-foot wide boat. We're also looking at 25-inch pontoons, not 23s or 24s. So that's kind of like the barometer for kind of maximizing the size of the boat in a 20-foot platform. The other thing I really like is the fact that we have high fence panels on this boat. A lot of times you'll see fence panels only about halfway up or 2/3 of the way up, but this one's got the high fence panels. Really, I think it's a 2-foot fence panel length, which is the same you'll find on the premium boats. We've got a full-length rubber bumper going around the whole exterior of the boat, which again, normally you don't find a nice rubber bumper like that. Little things on a safety end. The little spray fins we have here on the nose cone have a nice finish cap to them rather than a sharp edge where kids aren't going to cut their hand on that. So it's, again, a nice little thing. Your docking and navigation lights are kind of out of the way. They're not set up on the front of the boat where you can step on them and stuff like that. Nice stainless steel cleat here. And then even docking lights are recessed under the deck. So that's a standard feature on this boat that normally is a $200 or $300 option on other models. So on the transom part of the boat, we have a nice little swim deck, and we notice it on the front too, how there's an access point where you can get on and off the boat, but it's big enough to use, but it's also not so big that we're also losing interior space. So as people enter and exit the boat from the transom, or there's definitely enough space for people to do that. We talked about how this boat has the big 25-inch tubes. We've got a built-in, a lot of times on a boat like this, it might be a portable gas tank. We've got a built-in fuel tank with a direct fill that you can fill from either side of the road, if you're on a trailer, or you can, really have it on either side when you're docking. So that's a nice thing. And then the other thing I always point out, because, one of the things, me being a connoisseur or picky about pontoon boats, is I look at how it's built, how it's constructed. This is a value-oriented boat, so I'm not expecting a whole lot, right? So, as we pan underneath the transom area, they really have some pretty heavy-duty cross members that they use, and you can see how there's a lot of them, particularly in the transom area where you're going to have the most weight, where the engine is. That's not an inexpensive way to build a boat. That's definitely one of the better cross member setups I've seen. There's bolts everywhere, and then a steady number of cross members, particularly in the transom area where you need them the most, is included on this Bentley. Just a quick little thing, it's not a big deal, but a lot of times you'll see these little kind of narrow mount ladders with maybe 2 or 3 steps. I mean, this thing has a legitimate 4-step ladder that goes way deep into the water, and it has a extra wide point, so you're not going to feel like unstable as you climb up it. So, really a pretty heavy-duty ladder for a boat at this price point. So I'm pretty happy with the way they organize that. So as we get into the inside of this Bentley 200 LE, this is the cruise layout. So you're going to see basically 3 couches with kind of an L-shaped couch here at the end. A couple things I'll point out. Obviously the seating, I think for this price point is a great seat. It's comfortable. The other thing I really like is that we have on this particular couch, and even in the couches up front, we have nice recessed cup holders that are kind of out of the way of the person sitting in the boat, so you can pop your keys in there, your cell phone, or a drink. So that's pretty nice. And then obviously these have storage underneath them, and I'll point out that the storage has a water management system where they're not watertight, but you can see how the water will kind of get into this groove and then drain outside the boat. And these containers on the inside are separate from the floor, so you don't see just the floor of the boat in there. So in theory, they're not going to get water that's dripping inside the boat going to get into one of the compartments. And then stainless steel heavy-duty cleats, or I'm sorry, not cleats, but hinges here. Just kind of show you how well it's put together, as well as the double stitching on the upholstery. Again, not something you normally find. A lot of times you'll find single hand staples in this thing, but this was really, really well put together, especially, considering the price point that we have on this boat. The other thing I'll point out, because of the way this seat's laid out, with being kind of this L conceit with the corner gate, is that right behind the driver, you're going to see a kind of an open space where you could, you know, for me, it's really a common place to put like a big cooler, or to kind of put, you know, an extra, if you ended up adding like an accessory table or something like that, you know, you could add it back there. So it's kind of got a nice space for that, where a lot of times you're trying to figure out, well, where do I put the cooler? Well, this particular boat's got a good spot for it with the way that they configured the seats. So Helm Area is super important on any pontoon. You know, this particular boat's equipped with the optional adjustable tilt wheel, which is kind of cool. And you know, it's a slender console, so it doesn't take up a lot of space. I've got my throttle control on the right. This particular boat comes with a Jensen stereo system that does have Bluetooth capability, and 4 speakers inside the boat. You know, all your switches and things like that are located off to the left-hand side. You've got a fuel gauge, mile per hour, RPM, and battery voltage, as well as an outlet for your cell phone charger, USBs, that type of thing right here. So, you know, overall, a nice console area. Keep it simple. We do have a storage area underneath where you can slide a cooler or backpacks or something, which is good. So if you wanted to stow away a cooler, you can slide it under there, you know, or put anybody's backpacks or stuff. Next thing we're going to talk about on this boat is the Bimini top. So we see, you know, it's got a, I believe this is either a 9 or 10 foot top, but it's wide, it's big. You know, it's pretty heavy duty rail and fencing material, so I'm pretty happy with, you know, not having just a chintzy Bimini top with like a thinner rail. This has got the, you know, the bigger rails that you'll see on the higher end boats, so you can kind of tell this is a pretty heavy duty setup, even being at a little bit lower price point. So I'm pretty happy with the way that they did that. So the last area to talk about is the bow area. And again, you know, a lot of times you'll see in a 20-foot boat or a value price boat, what they'll do is they'll basically build a little 15-foot boat in the fencing, and then they'll put like 3 foot out on the front and 2 foot out on the back, and really you're getting a 15-foot boat with some extra deck on it. But you know, they really did a good job kind of maximizing within reason, not going too crazy, you know, because obviously the more seats you put in the boat, the higher the price is, but there's not, you know, this short bench up here. You could easily sit 3 people on this side, 2 to 3 people on the other side, you know, and have everybody kind of have a place to, you know, to be, and then still have enough access in the front to board the boat from the bow or the transom area without having too much excess dead space up there. So I really like the, you know, the way that they kept the price down by not going too crazy, but it's still, you're getting, you know, legitimate seating in this boat. This boat's actually rated for 11 people. It's also rated up to 90 horsepower. So a lot of times in a boat like this, you might see a rating of 9 people or 10 people. This one's got 11. You also might see a rating of 60 or 75 horsepower. This one's got a 90 horsepower. So that all kind of is built into how burly the boat really is built. You start adding up with what's standard on the boat, you know, the upholstery, the number of seats you have, you know, the space utilization that you get, and it really is impeccable value for that 2-tube pontoon boat. This is only available as a 2-tube pontoon. You can't upgrade it to a tri-tune. Bentley does have other models and lines where you can get a tri-tune setup, but this one they tried to keep simple, so it's 2-tube only. And you know, really an overall great value. With, you know, we'll be putting people on a 9.9 on this boat for horsepower restriction, 20 horsepower potentially for horsepower restriction. You know, most people might opt, if they don't have a restricted horsepower, probably at somewhere in the 50 to 90 horsepower range. You know, this boat's going to perform really well. So thanks again for checking out the Bentley 200 with us here at Buckeye Sports Center. You know, for more information, visit our website, buckeyesportscenter.com. Subscribe to our YouTube page where we post all kinds of videos from Bentley and 14 other brands that we sell. And we're really appreciative of all the comments and feedback we get from all around the country for our YouTube page. So thanks for watching. Have a great day on the water.